On June 6, 1944, thousands of Allied soldiers stormed the beaches of Normandy, France, a moment that would change the course of World War II forever. This massive invasion, known as D-Day, was a bold mission to liberate Europe from Nazi control. Among these brave warriors were men who would go on to become Hollywood legends, or were already actors who put their careers on hold to fight. Here are the gripping stories of 5 actors who faced the horrors of D-Day head-on. David Niven. Imagine someone who was both a Hollywood star and a fearless soldier. That was David Niven. Born in London, England in 1910, he had a natural charm and a mischievous sense of humor from an early age. He loved making people laugh, never realizing that one day he'd be storming the beaches of Normandy and rising to fame as a top movie star. As soon as he was old enough, David Niven joined the British Army. But at first, he had no plans to make the military his lifelong career. He eventually left to explore other opportunities, and that's when he found his true passion, acting. Moving to Hollywood, he landed small roles in films, quickly winning audiences over with his good looks, sharp wit, and smooth English accent. His career was on the rise, but then World War II changed everything. Even though Hollywood was treating him well, he felt a duty to serve his country once more. He returned to England and re-enlisted, this time as a lieutenant colonel in the British Commandos. Being a commando was no ordinary task. It demanded brutal training and extreme bravery. Some say that even in those terrifying moments, he managed to keep his signature sense of humor, cracking jokes to steady the nerves of the men around him. Whether that's true or not, one thing is certain. He was a fearless and dependable leader when it mattered most. After securing the beaches, David Niven continued his service with the U.S. 1st Infantry, assisting them in intense battles. His exceptional dedication earned him the prestigious U.S. Legion of Merit Medal, a rare honor. In fact, only 25 British soldiers ever received it. After the war, David Niven returned to acting, becoming a Hollywood icon. He starred in legendary films like Around the World in 80 Days and The Pink Panther, charming audiences with his elegance and wit. Despite his massive success, he never forgot the war. He had witnessed friends fall in battle and understood the true cost of protecting freedom. Niven passed away in 1983, leaving behind a legacy as both a celebrated actor and a true hero. Many still enjoy his films today, unaware that this charismatic star once stormed the beaches of Normandy, risking everything for the Allied cause. Richard Todd. Before Richard Todd became a Hollywood star, he was a soldier on the front lines of World War II. Just like David Niven, he started as an actor, but first, he played a real-life role in one of history's most daring missions. On D-Day, he took part in a top-secret operation involving parachutes and a strategically vital bridge. Born in Ireland in 1919, Todd had a typical childhood. He loved sports, school, and hanging out with friends. But when World War II erupted, he felt a powerful duty to serve. He enlisted in the British Army and underwent intense training to join the airborne forces. As a paratrooper, he was prepared to leap from planes and land deep behind enemy lines, ready to face whatever awaited him. On the night of June 5, 1944, just hours before the massive D-Day landings, Todd and his fellow soldiers soared over the English Channel with a critical mission. Their objective? To land near Pegasus Bridge, a vital crossing over the Caen Canal. If the Germans managed to seize that bridge, they could flood the beaches with tanks and reinforcements, putting the entire Allied invasion at risk. Todd and his unit had one job: keep that bridge in Allied hands, no matter what. In the dead of night, they leaped from their planes into enemy territory. Just picture the terror of parachuting into the darkness, completely unaware of where enemy forces might be lurking. But Todd and his comrades were highly trained. Within moments, they regrouped and advanced toward Pegasus Bridge. Another unit had already crash-landed nearby in gliders, launching a daring assault to seize control. Todd's battalion arrived as reinforcements, tasked with holding the bridge at all costs. The battle was brutal. After the war, Todd continued acting in a wide range of films, earning respect not only for his talent, but also for his real-life heroism. And an actor, he was a humble man who never bragged about his experiences. He carried the memories of D-Day with him, honoring the comrades he had lost and the struggles they had endured. While many recognized him for his movies rather than his military service, those who truly knew him understood he had been part of a historic moment that changed the course of the war forever. When you watch The Longest Day, pay special attention attention to the scenes at Pegasus Bridge, because Richard Todd wasn't just portraying history, he had lived it. His bravery, along with that of so many other courageous soldiers, helped secure the Allied victory in Normandy. Without these fearless airborne troops, the outcome of D-Day could have been very different. Todd passed away in 2009, but his legacy remains as powerful as ever, preserved in history books and immortalized on the silver screen. He stands as a symbol of courage, dedication, and an extraordinary authenticity, something only a man who had truly fought on the battlefield could bring to a film. Robert Montgomery. Montgomery served in the United States Navy, taking a different path to heroism, but no less courageous. His story is a powerful reminder of how people from different nations came together for one grand mission on D-Day. Born in 1904 in New York, Robert Montgomery grew up in a wealthy family, but his life wasn't without challenges. As a young man, he discovered an outlet for his emotions: acting. He first took to the Broadway stage before making his way to Hollywood, where he quickly became one of the most beloved leading men of the 1930s. Audiences were captivated by his charm and sharp wit, admiring his ability to shift effortlessly between serious and lighthearted roles. But everything changed as World War II loomed on the horizon. Even before the United States officially entered the war, Montgomery felt a deep responsibility to do more. Instead of staying in Hollywood, he made a bold decision. He enlisted in the military, proving his unwavering commitment to protecting freedom. He chose the Navy, where he trained to become an officer. Montgomery's expertise became invaluable. On D-Day, June 6, 1944, he served aboard the USS Barton, a powerful Navy destroyer. His ship played a critical role in the landings, bombarding enemy positions and shielding transport ships from deadly threats like submarines and enemy fire. It was a high-stakes mission, with German forces still posing a serious danger at sea. Robert Montgomery's service didn't end on D-Day. He remained on active duty for 5 years, earning the deep respect of his fellow sailors. His bravery and dedication were recognized with numerous honors, including the Bronze Star, a Good Conduct Medal, the American Defense Service Ribbon, and the European Theater Ribbon with 2 battle stars, signifying his participation in 2 major battles in the European campaign. By the end of the war, he had risen to the rank of lieutenant commander, solidifying his legacy as both a soldier and a leader. When the war ended, Montgomery returned to Hollywood a changed man. He was older, perhaps seeing the world through a different lens after witnessing the harsh realities of war. Still, he picked up where he left off, resuming his acting career while also stepping into producing and directing. He even became the host of a television series, Robert Montgomery Presents, using his sharp leadership skills to bring fresh, engaging content to audiences at home. But his influence didn't stop there. He also mentored young actors and actresses, guiding them through the complex world of film. In Hollywood, he wasn't just admired for his talent. His military service made him a true icon. Robert Montgomery passed away in 1981, leaving behind a legacy of both bravery and artistry. When we watch his films, we see a polished actor, one who could make us laugh, cry, or reflect on life. But beyond the Hollywood charm was a man who had once stood aboard a Navy destroyer off the coast of Normandy, playing a vital role in the Allied victory. Charles Durning. Charles Durning had an incredible career in film and television, earning the title King of Character Actors because of his ability to play just about any role. But long before he became a familiar face on screen, he was a soldier, one who braved the blood-soaked beaches of Normandy. His story is one of both heroism and heartbreak. Born in 1923 in New York, Durning grew up during the Great Depression, a time of immense struggle for many families. As a teenager, he took on various odd jobs to get by, but when he turned 18, everything changed. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, the United States entered World War II, and Durning felt the call to serve. He enlisted in the U.S. Army, enduring grueling basic training, learning how to fire a rifle, follow orders, and work as part of a team. Then, the moment arrived. D-Day was upon him. On the morning of June 6, 1944, Charles Durning stormed Omaha Beach in one of the first waves of Allied soldiers. The beach was a death trap. German forces were waiting, and within moments, bullets filled the air while artillery shells erupted all around. Chaos reigned, and countless soldiers were cut down before they even made it off their landing craft. Some reports claim Durning was the only one in his unit to survive that horrific landing. Just imagine watching your fellow soldiers fall one by one, knowing any second could be your last. Yet, despite the carnage, he pressed on, determined to push inland and secure a foothold in France. But the war wasn't done with him yet. 9 days later, he was wounded in action, forced off the front lines for medical treatment. Though he recovered, the scars, both physical and emotional, never truly faded. For his incredible bravery, Charles Durning was showered with honors. He received the Purple Heart, awarded to those wounded in battle, and the prestigious Silver Star, one of the highest decorations for heroism in combat. These medals weren't just for show. They proved that Durning had faced death head-on, standing strong under fire while helping his fellow soldiers in their darkest hour. Yet, for years, he barely spoke but about his wartime experiences. Like many who survived such horrific battles, the memories were too painful to relive. But eventually, he found another outlet: acting. It became a way to express himself, perhaps even to heal. Durning built an impressive career, starring in films like Dog Day Afternoon, Tootsie, and The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. His performances were deep, raw, and unforgettable. About his time in the war, he began sharing fragments of his harrowing experiences, speaking at events and meeting with fellow veterans. In 2012, he passed away. We should also remember the young soldier who charged into a hail of bullets, willing to give everything for something greater than himself. James Doohan. You probably know James Doohan as Scotty, the beloved engineer from the original Star Trek series, the genius who kept the USS Enterprise running against all odds. But long before he ever shouted, "I'm giving her all she's got, Captain," Doohan was a real-life hero. On D-Day, serving with the Canadian Army on June 6, 1944, Doohan and his fellow Canadian soldiers charged onto Juno Beach, diving straight into a storm of relentless gunfire and deafening explosions. Despite the chaos and fierce defenses, the determined Canadians pressed on, refusing to back down. Doohan was right in the thick of it, putting his training to work as his unit fought to secure their ground. The battle was savage, with countless soldiers injured or killed. Doohan himself was struck multiple times in the leg and chest, and even lost his right middle finger to a bullet. Incredibly, he survived. Despite his severe injuries, Doohan made an astonishing recovery and kept serving with remarkable determination. Overcoming such trauma took incredible courage, but he never wavered. After the war, he decided to forge a new path and found his calling in acting. With a commanding voice and natural charisma, quick problem-solving, and unforgettable Scottish accent, his wartime experiences may have played a role in shaping his ability to portray a character who thrived under immense pressure. Doohan often cleverly concealed his missing finger on camera, carefully positioning his hand to keep it out of sight. Doohan passed away in 2005, but his legacy endures, not just as the beloved Scotty, but as a true World War II hero whose courage both on and off the battlefield continues to inspire. Henry Fonda. Henry Fonda, another Hollywood icon, is often celebrated for his wartime service, though he wasn't at D-Day. Famous for unforgettable roles in films like The Grapes of Wrath and 12 Angry Men, Fonda's steady demeanor and unmistakable voice cemented his status as a leading man. When World War II erupted, he answered the call, joining the U.S. Navy and serving aboard the USS Curtis in the Pacific. His duties involved critical tasks, such as refueling and repairing planes to support naval aircraft operations. While it wasn't the glamour of a battleship posting, his work was essential to keeping missions in the air and the Navy moving forward. In June 1944, as the Normandy invasion unfolded, Fonda was stationed thousands of miles away near the Marshall Islands. The U.S. was deep into its intense island-hopping campaign against Japan, and Fonda's service was a vital part of that effort. After the war, he returned to Hollywood with a newfound depth that enriched his performances. One of his later roles was portraying Brigadier General Theodore Roosevelt Jr. in The Longest Day, a film depicting the events of D-Day. This led many fans to mistakenly believe he had been part of the invasion. Alec Guinness, widely known as Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars, also served in World War II, but not in Normandy. The British actor, who had already built a reputation on stage and screen, joined the Royal Navy during the war. By June 1944, he was involved in operations in the Mediterranean rather than the Normandy landings. There are records of him preparing for the invasion of southern France in August 1944 as part of Operation Dragoon. His experience with landing craft and amphibious operations may have contributed to later rumors that he had been present at D-Day. After the war, Guinness returned to acting, bringing a deeper sense of duty and sacrifice to his roles. He starred in classics like The Bridge on the River Kwai, winning an Oscar, and later became a global icon as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Though he was never at Normandy, his service in the Royal Navy was an important part of his life and career. Art Linkletter, a famous radio and television personality, is another name sometimes mistakenly linked to D-Day. Known for his warm, easygoing style on shows like House Party and People Are Funny, Linkletter was beloved by audiences. Born in Canada in 1912 and later raised in the US, he built a successful career in entertainment before World War II. Despite rumors that he had fought in Normandy, there is no official record of him serving in the military during the war. Instead, he continued his broadcasting career throughout the 1940s. Some of the confusion likely stemmed from the fact that Linkletter was Canadian-born, and Canada played a significant role in the Normandy invasion. Dirk Bogarde, a celebrated British film star, often has his military service mistakenly linked to D-Day. Born in 1921, he enlisted in the British Army and served in the Intelligence Division. Although he arrived in Europe after the Normandy landings, he played a critical role in the later stages of the campaign, seeing fierce action across France, Belgium, and Germany, especially after he witnessed the haunting aftermath of concentration camps, a memory that deeply shaped his life and career. The misunderstanding about Bogarde's service likely comes from how people often use D-Day as a catch-all term for the entire Normandy campaign. While he did serve on the European front, he wasn't part of the initial wave of soldiers who stormed the beaches on June 6, 1944. After the war, Bogarde made a seamless transition into acting, becoming one of Britain's most beloved stars during the 1950s. As his career progressed, he took on more complex and dramatic roles, cementing his reputation as a versatile and captivating performer. People naturally gravitate toward heroic stories, especially when they involve beloved celebrities. This fascination often blurs the lines between fact and fiction. An actor might mention having served in Europe in 1944, and audiences quickly assume that meant participating in D-Day. In other cases, playing a soldier in a film about Normandy can further fuel the misconception that they were reenacting their real-life experiences. These mix-ups are understandable, but they show how closely audiences connect actors to the roles they portray. World War II led countless future Hollywood stars to pause their budding careers and step up to serve their nations. James Stewart, already a Hollywood heavyweight thanks to films like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington during World War II, but he didn't just wear the uniform. He flew combat missions over Europe and rose to the rank of colonel. Those intense wartime experiences left a lasting mark, adding depth to the grounded, relatable persona he would famously bring to his film roles in the years that followed. Clark Gable, another legendary actor, had a deeply personal reason for enlisting. Heartbroken after the tragic death of his wife, Carole Lombard, in a plane crash, Gable sought a sense of purpose and joined the U.S. Army Air Forces. Although he was primarily part of a motion picture unit producing training films, it's incredible to think that one of Hollywood's most iconic leading men was up in the skies, risking his life during the chaos of war. These stories remind us that many actors didn't just portray heroes on screen, they were real-life heroes who made meaningful sacrifices.